Hi, and welcome to the Humanity as Organisms Thrives Convergence Room. And this is my daily Akashic Records reading. I am doing one for the theme every day, and today's theme is cooperation, which is something that needs to be present and is getting more to become the norm: cooperation, co-creation, collaboration. So let's go into the Akashic Records reading for cooperation. And just taking a few breaths, wherever you've been or whatever you've been doing, just release yourself from the space of the past and just be in the present. Okay, I'm going to open the Akashic Records. Excuse me. The records are now opened. I will just see what comes through. And the first message that's coming through is that when we look at cooperation, it is, we sounded out cooperation, and the word operation is always weighty and has a sense of responsibility. And even though words are only representations, and it's really not about the word, it's about the thing itself, but the energy of that word feels like it's a sense of responsibility, and it is not in an obligation sort of way, but in the idea that we all come into this lifetime, we've all come into this lifetime to be with each other, to be with one another, in community, in co-creation, in being and doing, in other words. And that is the weightiness. We're co-operating, and that is the work. That is the work of us here on Earth, because when we're able to be in cooperation as humanity, then we get a vision of how it's possible to be together with our fellow beings, our creatures, being together with Mother Earth, taking it further, being together with all energy forms in the universe. And those visions are so necessary, because as we have the vision from this microcosm right to the macrocosm, we're able to know that there is truly no separation among any beings, that there is only togetherness, there's only oneness, and it never disappears. If we don't see that, it's simply simply that we're not recognizing it, that we're not feeling it, and we're not in a position to receive it because we're misaligned. Give me a minute. And when we tap into one another's energies, the individual energies that we see in our human form as this person's energy and that person's energy, as we tap into them, then we're able to get a sense of energy that is slightly different from ours, and yet we're able to meld the energies, and that playing in this human form of melding our energies with our fellow beings and being able to sense what someone is feeling or thinking, or what someone wants to say, and you saying it just because you sensed it, and they go, how do you know? All of that is tapping into energy and playing with the extension that we're not simply individuals, we're all in oneness and all together. So we can tap into any energy we want to, any individual energy, and true evolution within comes when we recognize that we are not tapping into individual energies, but rather into the wholeness and into the oneness, and that we can pull any energy out of there. So we have the power to know that we're tapping into the bigger picture, and the hologram that would contribute to the bigger picture. Let me see if there's anything else. And being in that space of cooperation, which sometimes in our human form feels like it's transactional. I do this and you do this so that we cooperate. And it's not transactional at all. There's no separateness of the transaction of what I do and you do. It is a flow as interpreted in wholeness, and all that is, it is the flowing together, the weaving in and out of our energies together, in order to create a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts. And they're also giving the message that when we look within, we just be aligned with the bigger picture, the wholeness of what's happening, not the actual cooperation and our role in it, but what's happening when we are in cooperation, the journey of that wholeness, that when we're looking to the journey of that wholeness, then what's in it for me, or am I doing more than the other person, or how is this an even transaction? Am I giving what's worthy? All those questions to dissolve, and they're not there anymore, which means that it's not even a matter of giving, because giving is seeing yourself as doing something. It is transactional. It's a matter of being. We see ourselves as being in the moment and being who we are and being in alignment. And when we do that, and we're weaving with someone's energy, then coming from that space, we're able to create what we couldn't create, certainly individually, and what we couldn't create if we came from a transactional space. So they're saying just take the bigger picture view of that. Yeah. So that's the message for today for cooperation. And if you have any questions, then please feel free to ask them. I'll just give it a minute.
I get the very full feeling of relief of that kind of mutual respect, divine mutual respect, coincidence, literally. And since we're about 90 minutes away from the solstice, I'm wondering how we might experience that moment where there actually is same. Almost never in our interactions on the planet is that the case. And just for a moment, twice a year, it's equal. And we don't have to deal with the what's in it for me because there's perfect equal contribution. Why is that feeling so fleeting, and how might we get traction from respecting that?
That's a great question. Give me a minute. The first thing that comes is because it's not of ego with us human beings. We're dealing with that ego. We are creators using thought, not only thought, but thought is a major part of the creating, the uncreating, all of that. And it really guides and plays a big role in our creation, while in the universe, there is a different type of leadership and a different kind of creation. It doesn't involve thought. It involves something that's similar to intuition, but not intuition as we think in human terms. It's a sort of a preempting, and it isn't filled with any resistance, no stress, no resistance. It just simply is. It's a calling. It's like source energy calling to the next, calling for the universe to go to the next level. But the universe is so perfectly in sync with that, that calling doesn't even have to happen. It's almost like a dancing, like a kind like two waves going together in perfect harmony, because there is no resisting, there is no nothing that we humans have, like the feeling of lack or feelings of lack of self-worth. It's just that the universe is called, not in the traditional sense of calling, but it feels that energy and it goes. And when we duplicate the macrocosm in our microcosm in so many ways, that when we can see ourselves as perfect duplication, as the macrocosm keeps evolving and life keeps evolving, so too do we. We can see that in Mother Earth, the duplication of the universe, maybe not exact duplication, but the duplication of the nature of the universe, that abundance. and then the duplication of the nature of Mother Earth within us, that abundance in ourselves. And when we can fully embrace that and be immersed in that, then we're not going to find a separateness where we're looking at transactional things and the ego is coming in. Even our thoughts would be more freely aligned, and we won't keep having to control them as we create.
Thank you. Actually, as soon as I finished my question, I realized it was an inappropriate question for the solstice. I was describing the dynamics of equinox. And of course, today is not equinox. It is not the balance. It is the most extreme. And so you gave me a presence of how to remember the divine balance, extremities.
Interesting. I got the image when you asked your question. I did get the image of equal, and I didn't get the image of anything in particular. It just had, it was just a picture of almost two bodies in the universe looking like planets, and together one was here and one was there, and it was that sense of equal. So it was just it really, time is our construct, so it wouldn't have mattered. That's just a natural function, that equality. So it doesn't matter. It's not inappropriate. Is there anything else? Okay. If not, I'll close records. The records are now closed. Thank you. Thank you for your presence.